This is Jacqueline here with the Grow Program. Thanks for watching. I wanted to know for any of you ladies or gentlemen who happen to, maybe somebody's watching who's a nurse, can answer a question for me. Why are African American women more likely to die having childbirth than Caucasian women? Is there any logical explanation for that? I'm baffled. I'm trying to figure it out myself. Um, Maybe it probably the same answer is why we're more likely to die at the hands of the police. Maybe it has something to do with that. But I will tell you this: being the first free generation born in the '60s, the first free generation. Growing up, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that being as a kid that my father, who worked for the government, was not even allowed to vote at a time that he worked for the government. At a time where he was delivering mail, my dad was not allowed to vote until the 60s. And my dad retired from the government. So that is just crazy to me because I didn't even realize any of that. And so just think about the injustices that we see today on TV. Just think about that before cell phones, back in the 70s, the 80s, before we had cell phones. The police brutality, it was the police, always the police word against ours. It still is. We have cameras. We recorded, and the police word against ours. Remember when the police officer shot the man in the back and he moved the gun and said the man fired at him, but the police officer didn't know he was being recorded? Just think if somebody hadn't recorded that. There's a lot of times that police officers have gotten away with murder, maiming, torture, because not all police are bad police. Not all are bad. But there are still some bad police officers, and we desperately are in need of police reform. We are desperate in need of police reform in our inner city communities. We don't need reform everywhere. We don't have a problem everywhere. We have a problem in the inner city communities. We have a problem with the way the police officers view themselves, whether and how they view their citizens that they patrol. They look at them, some of them look at themselves as better, and I think it goes back to a time when we African Americans, because the Africans that were the ancestors that were brought over here were deemed to be superhuman because they could endure so much pain and tolerance. That's because God gave them a great mind. And through that great mind, we can do anything. We can achieve anything. We can grow. We can grow from where we are, our environment, the chaos that we've created in our life, that we've brought into our life. We can grow from that through this mind that God gave us. So the Caucasians have always really thought of African Americans as being superhuman because so many atrocities were done to us. We are the reason that I'm telling you something that you may not know, but you need to go research it for yourself. We are the reason that the doctor can do the gynecology test that he performs, because there was a doctor who used to do that on African American women with no pain medicine and to see how much they tolerate. And so he would get a pain medicine to the Caucasian women, but the African American women weren't allowed pain medicine. If you don't believe me, look it up for yourself. There is a statue right now of a doctor. Matter of fact, I wrote the mayor to have that statue removed. He is the doctor who performed those procedures on women, DNCs and all this other stuff but we weren't allowed pain medicine at the time. So, just horrible things. And we have a great mind. We are a powerful mind. That's why when we weren't enslaved and in bondage anymore, the drugs were pushed in, because then that begins to enslave you up here in your thinking. You begin to oppress your own self. They don't need to oppress you no more. You're oppressing your own self. And so now, we got the police brutality. You got people riding around in pickup trucks hunting down people. And then on top of that, you got us down here. Now we've begun to oppress ourselves by feeding each other drugs, shooting up the community, terrorizing the elderly. They afraid to go out. They can't even go out anymore and go sit in parks and go visit one another, go for a walk or a stroll. It's gotten so horrible in the community. One day, I hope that this video can reach Detroit, because I want Detroit. That is the one thing, and I promise you, that is the one I'm going to keep on speaking. I want to see Detroit beautiful. I want to see around Hitsville. I want to see all the $5 houses bought up, or you tear down some of that land and build some playgrounds for the kids, or build some community centers where the children can go to, in the afternoon, instead of getting in trouble. Teach them some job skills, how to do construction, how to work in the community, volunteer, how to see. I did stuff like that when I was a kid. I volunteered. I had a job. I worked when I was 14 years old. I volunteered in the hospital. I did all kind of things like that. That's what we need to get our kids back involved in. Instead of going over so-and-so house or going to hang out, do something positive. Because see, we raising up future kings and queens here, and we have to be an example to them. We need to be an example to our children. And because this is our future. We need to begin to build wealth in the community. We need to begin to buy up property, buy up all that old $5 property, and fix it up if you can. If you can't fix it up, tear it down and put something there, begin to build up. You could put some statues of some African American people, who've done things, who've done great things, some legends. We've had some beautiful legends, some kings and queens of the past. True kings and queens who are not lifted on television, who they barely written about, but somebody that we need role models for our children to look up to and and be an example of, and not only ourselves, parents, but other people that we can portray to our children, other kings and queens that we can portray. Sadly, we lost a king in Chadwick Boseman, but we can live. Our children live on in him. It's gonna be Black Panther forever, Wakanda forever. It's gonna be Wakanda forever. But we have to teach our children. Let's teach our children. To be kings and queens. They are our future. Let's look around you where you live at. Look around where you grew up at. Because that is my goal, is to begin to fix up the community, begin to build wealth. I don't care. I give people houses. I can only live in one house. I give people houses. I help out in the community. I buy a store to put somebody in there who want a store to operate. I just want to build wealth. I want to see our African American community rise. That's the goal of this grow movement, and the goal of any proceeds that come into this, along with into this YouTube, along with my own proceeds, are going to begin to build up wealth. And that's all I'm asking you to do in your own community, is to begin to build up wealth. Go around, and begin to buy houses, buy those old properties, buy those old tore up buildings. Go around speaking to the elderly, wave at them, let them know, hey, we part of the grow movement, and we get ready to start getting some stuff growing around here. We get ready to start building up property, building up wealth, start sharing pictures, on your Instagram and Twitter. I don't do Facebook at all. I don't believe in Mark Zuckerberg, and I don't believe in what he's doing. I don't like him, and and until he began to build in the African American community, I love him, but I don't like what he's doing. I don't like his ways. But that's what I'm saying. I love everybody, but I don't like his ways. I don't like what he's doing. He could do better with the African American community, and all the money that he receives from the African American community for Facebook. No, it's not right. So until he do better, then I get a Facebook. That's when I get a Facebook. Okay, so let's do that, people. Let's just begin to build wealth. Think about Think about the elderly. Think about your children. If you out there on drugs, I'm gonna tell you what. Now is the time to change your mindset, because right now this government is topsy turvy. There's a whole lot of crazy stuff going on right now, and this is not the time to be out there in the street on drugs. Got yourself out there bad. You need to change your way of thinking. Don't worry about trying to go to rehab, because over half the people in rehab don't want to be in rehab. They there because somebody made them go, the court made them go, and they gonna be in there messing it up for you. So the best thing for you to do is, if you're serious about changing your way of thinking and changing your mindset, is to go ahead and do it right now this minute. Say, I'm done with that lifestyle. I'm getting ready to get me a job, begin to build wealth. I heard this lady screaming and hollering on the YouTube, so I'm gonna listen to what she's saying, because she sounds like she got a little sense. So I'm gonna start building wealth for myself, building wealth for my community, so I can have something to leave my children to pass on, because that's what we want to do. We want to continue to build wealth in our African American community. I want to see everybody rise up. I love to see kings and queens, lifted up, where we supposed to be. We are legends. We are in this world, but we are not of this world. We are kings and queens. So we have to live a life in glory. You have to live righteously, just as if your deceased ancestor, your loved one, was standing right beside you. Would you do that if they was there? No. You have to live in honor, and that's how you begin to receive glory. That's how you begin to receive your wealth. That's where it comes from. That's we are 400 years later from the time from when that first ship docked in 1619. We are 400 years later now. So now it's time for us to rise up as a people. That's what grow means. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom. That means rise up from your circumstances. Rise up from where you was. Rise up from your past. Rise up from who they said you are. Rise up from what you thought you is. Rise up to be who you supposed to be. Wise up, that means grow. That means reaching your greatness. That means rising up to reach your greatness. Right now, I'm at my greatness. I'm going to tell you something. I look better than I did 20 years ago. I show you some pictures of me, you wouldn't believe how I used to look, because I was out there in the world doing this and doing that and getting over. But you know what? God done put the light in me right now to give to you, because I wouldn't even be standing here telling you a bunch of lies. I'm telling you about the ancestors. I'm telling you to live a life in honor and glory. And this is how it's done. And this is the outcome. This is what you get. You get the light. You get the blessings. You get the glory. You get what the promises that God has made, but you have to change yourself. By you oppressing yourself, it don't work. You oppressing yourself, you oppressing your children, your husband, your mama, your daddy, your community. You selling drugs out there in the community. You taking drugs. You getting over. You can't do none of that. You got to let all that go, and you have to forgive whoever you got to out against. Because I didn't like a whole bunch of people. I didn't like Donald Trump. I didn't like Mark Zuckerberg. I don't like a whole bunch of folks. But the thing of it is, God had to show me that I wasn't much different than them. I just got caught. Donald Trump didn't get caught, but I got caught. So, God had to show me I'm not all that different, but the thing of it is, we have to love. We still have to love, regardless if we don't like the things they do. We still have to love. So I have to send love that way. Even though I don't like the stuff he doing, I just have to just send love. That's why I be telling y'all, the man ain't the problem. The problem is in the community. The problem is within us. Racism was here before Donald Trump got here. Racism was here before he was even born, before he was even thought of, So we need to get past him and start looking at us. This is about us. This is about this right here, this color skin. That's what it's about. And it's about us rising up to be our greatness. Come on, people, we can do it. Let's grow. Okay, remember, let's grow.